In this lecture, we'll talk about the architecture of Kubernetes. Kubernetes is an orchestration tool that allows you to orchestrate your applications on a set of nodes. When we talk about a node in Kubernetes, we talk about a physical or virtual machine where our containerized applications will be running. A Kubernetes cluster is a set of nodes that works together to allow you to manage and to deploy your applications and to scale up or down depending on the traffic and on your needs. The nodes on which our applications are running are called worker nodes. So worker nodes are meant for hosting our applications running inside containers. In addition to the worker nodes, there is always a node that is different from the worker nodes, and it is known as the master node or the control plane. The master node is not dedicated for running our applications. The master node is responsible for managing the entire cluster, including scheduling our applications, checking the health state of the other nodes of the cluster, and checking the health state of the pods deployed on these worker nodes. You can deploy applications on the master node, but this is not recommended as it can interfere with its critical functions and responsibilities. So the master node works as the leader of the entire Kubernetes cluster, and it has a different architecture and a different role compared to the other nodes of the cluster. Let's go deeper in the architecture of a Kubernetes cluster and see the differences between the architecture of the master node and the architecture of a worker node. The master node has a set of components that enables him to make global decisions about the cluster, as well as detecting and responding to cluster events. First of all, we have the kube API server. The kube API server exposes the Kubernetes API. For example, when deploying a pod to Kubernetes, we talk to the kube API server through a Kubernetes client like the kubectl command line tool or the Kubernetes dashboard. Then the kube API server will talk to the other components of the control plane, and after making a decision, the kube API server will talk to a node to create the pod, and it will continuously talk to this worker node to check if the pods running on this node are running as expected. Next, we have the kube scheduler. The kube scheduler is another component of the master node, and it watches for the newly created pods with no assigned node and selects a node for them to run on. So the decision on which node a pod can run is always made by the kube scheduler by examining the resource requirements and the constraints of the pod and selecting a node that matches these requirements and that satisfies these constraints. We have also the controller manager that runs a set of controller processes. What you have to know about a controller in Kubernetes is that the role of a controller is to watch the state of something in the Kubernetes cluster, and it makes requests or changes where needed to move the current state closer to the desired state. There are many different types of controller, including the node controller, which is responsible for noticing and responding when a node goes down, and many other controllers like the job controller, the service account controller, and more. Finally, we have the etcd, which is a high available key value data store where the cluster data, including data about nodes, pods, and any object in Kubernetes, are stored. So that's the architecture of the master node. We will move now to the architecture of a worker node. Because in Kubernetes our applications run inside containers, a container runtime must be available on each node, which is the software that enables the execution of containers. Kubernetes supports different container runtimes such as Docker, Containerd, and more. We have also the kube proxy. The kube proxy maintains a set of network rules to allow the pods to communicate to each other and to be accessible by external users. Finally, we have the kubelet, which is an agent that takes a set of pod configurations and makes sure that these pods are running and healthy, and they are configured as they are described in the pod configurations. So the kubelet receives orders from the master node for creating, deleting, or updating pods, and it reports back to the master node data about each worker node in the cluster and about the pods running on this node. So whenever we want to perform an action on the cluster, for example, to create a pod, we talk to the kube API server through a Kubernetes client like the Kubernetes dashboard or the kubectl command line tool, and the kube API server will talk to the other components of the master node to decide where this pod can be deployed, and after making a decision, it sends an order to the kubelet of the appropriate worker node to create a pod. After making sure that this pod is up and running, the kube proxy will enable this pod to communicate with the remaining pods running on the cluster. So that's an overview of the architecture of Kubernetes. I hope that everything is clear, and thank you very much.